What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Untitled Gaming Channel. I'm AJ. Guys, I'm sorry I'm a little late this week. I know your Saturdays just can't be fulfilled without hearing my wonderful, wonderful voice. That's right, I'm bringing the cow mug back. I'm pretty excited about it. How's it going, guys? Really, just I thought I was going to talk about something. No, I can't remember what the hell it was. Oh, it's why I was late this week. Sorry about that. I tweaked my back or something yesterday, so I took something before I went to sleep, and woke up at about 11 o'clock. So, I kind of rushed to get this ready so that we can move on. The second thing I was thinking of, I am still planning on doing a video on that Nintendo Switch premiere thing. It all just kind of came down to I got sick late last week, and I didn't want to be sniffing and coughing all the way through a video, although I might cough a little bit in this one. Either way, so again, that video is still coming. It's just I just got to find the time to do it. I also got busy with the new releases of Yakuza 0 and Resident Evil 7. So all that. Well, I got a good deal to cover this week, so we're just gonna hop right into it. The first article: Project Scorpio is a, and I quote, full-blown next-gen machine, says Xbox dev. Article by Joe Scrubbles of IGN. The article reads, an Xbox developer has spoken out on the rumored power of upcoming console upgrade of Project Scorpio. Creator of Ori and the Blind Forest, Thomas Mahler, took the NeoGAF to answer a question about whether Scorpio is a PS4 Pro-style console update or a whole new generation of Xbox console. His answer, it's sort of both. And I quote, Scorpio isn't just a half-assed upgrade, which, in parentheses, which the PS Pro kind of is. Got to agree. The quote continues, but a full-blown next-gen machine that's just backwards compatible to your current library. End quote. That's a little outside of the company line. Microsoft has previously downplayed the idea of a separation between its consoles, even saying that Scorpio will put an end to the idea of console generations altogether. Mahler also reiterated his point on backwards compatibility, saying that, and I quote, from this point on, similar to PCs, you'll not lose your library when you buy a next-gen system, end quote. Xbox's Phil Spencer, who played the first games on the new system this week, has previously made this point clear, but has also said that all games released on Scorpio will be playable on Xbox One, a point Mahler doesn't cover in his post. Mahler's comments echo this information coming out of the leaked Microsoft white paper on the Scorpio that suggests the new console will be around 4.5 times as powerful as Xbox One. The Scorpio is due for release this holiday. That's the end of that one. Again, I'm super pumped for the Scorpio. It's why I haven't bought a 1S. I plan on upgrading to a Scorpio when that monster comes out. I really like this idea of, I don't really know what to call it, but this backwards compatibility thing, the fact that things that come out on the Scorpio will also be playable on the Xbox One. Well, Xbox One stuff will be playable on the Scorpio, so it's kind of one of those, is it still considered an Xbox One, or is it its own brand new thing? I don't know. I think this new console generation idea, or really kind of putting the end to the console generation, my question is, how are they going to put an end to the console generation? Is it or is it going to be like a moddable console or something? I'm sorry. I'm looking at my camera. It looks like the room is filled with steam. It's really weird. I don't know. It's like there's not enough ambient light, so I had to turn on my lights. I don't know. Sorry, got sidetracked. Either way. Next article, also containing information about the Scorpio Project Scorpio info leak reconfirms 6 teraflop GPU. Article by Seth Macy of IGN. Now, I'm probably not going to do a lot of commentary on this one, all because I do not understand the teraflop and I didn't build. I didn't build my own PC. I had it built for me and purchased it. I have an IT guy. I have my, when I upgrade it, have people do it for me. So I am not when it comes down to the super, like the technical kind of like prowess of it. I am not your guy to talk to. I'm just trying to get this information out to you guys so any of you who do understand it can get the information you need if you missed this article. Now, time to get into this. All right, let's see here. The article reads, a look at official information from Microsoft about the upcoming Project Scorpio has been analyzed and gives more clues as to the power of the iterative update to the Xbox One. Digital Foundry, who made a video sourcing information from a public-facing Microsoft report, says the white paper confirms Scorpio is getting a different RAM architecture than Xbox One, 4 times the L2 cache, and gives more evidence of a 6 teraflop GPU. That means the GPU in Scorpio has around 4.5 times the compute power of the current Xbox One. Digital Foundry's analysis also casts doubt the CPU will have AMD's new Zen architecture and will instead use chips based on the Jaguar family, as is the current case with Xbox One, PS4, and PS4 Pro. The white paper gives suggestions to developers for hitting the 4K sweet spot. The Scorpio aims for the Xbox One games. Efficiency suggestions recommend similar practices seen with the PS4 Pro, including a technique known as checkerboarding and sparse rendering. Some parts of an image, such as shadows, can be rendered at half resolution with no real deterioration in quality, allowing for gains in efficiency, according to Digital Foundry. Basically, the techniques allow games to render at 4K without needing to also scale up in lockstep with compute power. If all that sounds complicated, it is, but if it sounds expensive, that remains to be seen. Xbox head Phil Spencer calmed fears about Xbox Scorpio pricing in October, saying Scorpio will, and I quote, feel like it's a premium product, end quote, but no more than that. So I'm gonna guess $500-$600. That's my guess personally. I don't know. Yeah, that's like I said, my guess. It's gonna be. You know what? No, I'm gonna go $450 to $550. That's going to be my guess. Cause I don't know. I mean, yeah, I got to go $450 to $550. That's going to be my $100 range. Mark my flag in the sand. That's what I'm going with. All right. Next is a. Yeah, okay, you know what? I'll read this article. I wasn't planning on it originally. I was planning on talking about the trailer that they showed in this article, but you can check out the trailer. I'll have a link to it down in the description. The article, Mass Effect Andromeda's latest cinematic trailer introduces the villain. Article by Ben Kuchera of Polygon. Let's see here. Article reads, BioWare and EA have released a cinematic trailer for Mass Effect Andromeda today, and while it didn't show any new gameplay, we did get a sense for the game's story and a good look at its antagonist. Mass Effect Andromeda is set 600 years after the events of the first 3 games and follows 2 siblings who are pathfinders, human beings that travel the stars to find new planets to colonize. The player chooses to play as either the brother or the sister, and whichever you do not choose as your avatar will still exist in the game as a character in the story. Players have been a little concerned about the character system after the last gameplay trailer. However, we also know that the sex in space is going to be, and I quote, very good, which is a relief. That's a weird thing to put in an article, but all right. Let's see here. Mass Effect Andromeda will be released on PlayStation 4, Windows PCs, and Xbox One. It says March 17th of this year, which is weird because the trailer thing is saying March 21st, and I thought March 21st was the date, so I don't know. Either way, it did give a look at the new. I mean, literally, when he says look at the new villain, he means a look. We got to see its face. It's a something called the Archeon or something like that. It was really weird. I don't know what it does. I don't know what it is. It didn't really describe anything. It was kind of like a movie trailer. It was cool. We got to look at some new characters, some new aliens. We got to look at some of the Pathfinder crew. We got to look at the the writer that the person's playing, the main male character, that this person was playing. We got to look at, I think he's got a Turian, there's some short-haired kind of like platinum blonde woman. At first I thought that it's kind of like Fallout 4, where you could customize both characters and they both exist in the world as you customize them, which I'm thinking if they're going to do this whole you pick as to play as either the male or female writer, and then the other one exists in the world. I'm going to guess it's going to be something kind of like Fallout 4. Sorry, I'm tangenting. Except then they showed a sex scene where they were kissing, and unless they're doing some weird like incest thing, I'm going to guess that wasn't his sister. Either way, so we got to look at that. We got to look at some other characters in the party. I really liked there was this one line that the guy that he delivers, saying, "I don't need an army, I have a Krogan." So we got a Krogan team member again, which is great because I love the Krogan. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the Mass Effect game that lets me play as a Krogan. I don't need to be sociable. I'm just a battering ram. Sorry. But overall, again, I've been saying this for the longest time. Mass Effect Andromeda, it looks great. I'm not expecting any like massive new news from the game. I know there's supposed to be some multiplayer. There's some this. There's some that. But honestly, I might not even talk about this again until the game comes out, depending on the new information. I just thought that would be something interesting to cover. All right, let's see here. Another kind of like a little fluff story, I guess you could call it. But I think this is a really neat kind of milestone for this game. Overwatch passes 25 million players. That is up 5 million since October, according to the article, by Michael Pasalacqua of IGN. The article reads, Overwatch has now passed 25 million players, Activision Blizzard announced today. Word comes by way of the game's official Twitter account, which tweeted out the milestone with the message, and I quote, "The world needs heroes, and over 25 million have answered the call. The fight for the future isn't over yet, though. Are you with us?" End quote. It should be noted that that the 25 million figure, which is up 5 million from October, is presumably referring to total registered Overwatch accounts. Blizzard hasn't released sales numbers for the multiplayer shooter. Earlier this week, Overwatch's Year the Rooster event went live. Yada yada yada. It's currently running until February 13th. It's a bunch of cosmetic items and whatnot. So if you're interested in that stuff, there you go. Let's see here. Next, a article on Eurogamer. Tekken 7 has been delayed till June. Let's see here. Article by Wesley Yin Pool. Tekken 7 has been delayed to 2nd of June 2017. It had been due out early 2017. 2nd of June is the release date for the fighting game on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Tekken 7 has Street Fighter's Akuma as a guest character, complete with his Shoto-style moveset. He even has an X meter, which lets him do his X and super moves. Meanwhile, publisher Bandai Namco said Eliza is a pre-order bonus. She last appeared in Tekken Revolution. A season pass gets new playable characters, stages, a mystery new game mode, and a 35-piece metallic costume pack. Exclusive to the PS4 version of Tekken 7 is a jukebox mode, which lets you create playlists composed of songs from previous games in the series and listen to them while playing. There are also some exclusive costumes for certain characters from Tekken 4 and Tekken 2 for Jin, Xiaoyu, and King. I really don't know if I pronounced that name correctly. Yeah, I don't know. Again, not a lot to talk about. I'm not a big Tekken fan. Honestly, I'm not a big fighting game fan, if it's not Mortal Kombat. And I love Mortal Kombat because of the crappy movie and Johnny Cage. So, next article coming from PC Gamer. Avengers Project announced start of a new Marvel series from the Deus Ex and Tomb Raider devs. Article by Joe Donnelly. After suggesting we keep our eyes on its social feeds, and I quote, for an exciting announcement at some stage today, Square Enix has now revealed and I quote, multi-game partnership, end quote, with Marvel. Taking to Twitter, To share the news, the publisher said the newly formed collaboration will kick off with the Avengers Project and shared the following video. The tweet reads, big news. At Square Enix and at Marvel announce a multi-game partnership leading with the Avengers Project. Hashtag reassemble. Let's see here. The article continues. Not much else to go on yet, although you'll spot Crystal Dynamics mentioned up there. We'll update as... we'll update as and when we hear more about it. In a meantime, what do you guys make of all blah blah? Share your thoughts below. And if you want to go, look at the tweet. There's a little video connected to the tweet. Yes, Crystal Dynamics is up there. All that. So if you want to take a look at that, go into the description. There will be a link to the article, as every article that I talk about, as well as what was I thinking? Oh, a timestamp of everything I talk about. All right, now moving on to actual analysis of this. Personally, I'm not too interested. I'm not a big superhero. Like, it's weird. I am, but I'm not. I don't know. I mean, I'm not looking. I don't know. It'll all kind of come down to how they're made, what they are, who the characters are. But I think. And again, I've said this, I think Disney has really kind of killed my interest in guys like the Avengers and all this with the MCU, with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's just, you got to watch every movie and you got to watch every TV show and this, that, for all the tie-ins and I don't know. It's too much for me. I'm not interested. It's just, I don't know. But I mean, this could be a really cool, kind of project. If Crystal Dynamics is working on it, I mean, that's a really cool studio to work on that. Everything at Square. So again, I don't know. I'm gonna not say if it's gonna be good or bad yet, but I am going to say I am skeptical. All right, there we go. Now into the massive amount of announcements that we got this week. Sorry. Let's see here. Kicking off these announcements, the Banner Saga 3 announced Kickstarter campaign launched. Article by Alex Gilyadev. Developer Stoic has announced a Kickstarter campaign for its final third entry in the Banner Saga series, the Banner Saga 3. Stoic aims to raise at least $200,000 to successfully make what the studio deems a, and I quote, worthy climactic conclusion to its turn-based strategy series, which for now has only been announced for PC and Mac. The Banner Saga 3 will have players journey beyond the Wall of Darkness to explore the world for the first time, including the city of Arborine. I think that's correct. I don't know. I've never played the Banner Saga series, so... the game will also sport the same hand-drawn art style and challenging turn-based tactical battles the series is known for. A release date for the title has not been announced yet. Being an independent developer, Stoic doesn't plan on taking any outside funding, and I quote, to bring the series home, we'd love Kickstarter support to add additional features that are simply beyond our current budget, end quote, said John Watson, co-founder and technical director at Stoic. Some of the Kickstarter awards include $20 for the game, a $275 pledge that'll net you a bunch of t-shirts, art books, and in-game items, and even a $10,000 pledge that'll let you attend a board meeting with Stoic. Check out the rest of the campaign here, blah, blah, blah. You can follow those links if you go and hit the link up in the article. Again, another, like I said earlier, I haven't played any of the Banner Saga games. I have heard fantastic things, like it's very Viking. I've heard people love the hand-drawn art style, the kind of cartoonish, not cartoonish, but it's the like I said, hand-drawn. Again, I wish I had more to talk about. I really don't know much about the Banner Saga other than it's Vikings, it's turn-based, and it's hand-drawn. So, but all I can tell you is I've heard fantastic things about the franchise. So if you want to go check out the other games, go check those out. And if you want to donate, well, there you go. You can go donate. Next article by Lucy O'Brien of IGN. Apocalypse Now video game has been announced. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Man, I'm sorry. Let's see here. A Kickstarter campaign has been launched to support development of a video game based on Francis Ford Coppola's seminal war film Apocalypse Now. The Coppola family's film studio, American Zoetrope, I hope I pronounced that correctly, will join forces with, and I quote, entertainment and game industry veterans, end quote, to develop a psychological horror RPG around the 1979 movie. Well, I want to know how is it? Well, I mean, it's going to be war. I don't know. I'm sorry, my sinuses are starting to get a little congested right as I start talking about stuff. I mean, that's really interesting that it's going with a psychological horror RPG and not like a war kind of thing. Well, I mean, I think it's going to be psychological horror based around the idea of war, not... I don't know. This could be... this could be really cool. Oh, man, I'm sorry. Let's see here. To continue, said veterans include Rob Outen, Gears of War and Battlefield, Lawrence Liberty, Fallout New Vegas, The Witcher, Montgomery Markland, Wasteland 2, and Torment Tides of Numenera. I've never heard of that one. And in an advisory capacity, Obsidian Entertainment's design director, Josh Sawyer. The Kickstarter page for the project is now live and comes complete with a special message from Coppola himself. And I quote, 40 years ago, I set out to make a personal art picture that could hopefully influence generations of viewers to come. Wrote Coppola, quote continues, today I'm joined by new daredevils, a team who want to make an interactive version of Apocalypse Now, where you are Captain Benjamin Willard amidst the harsh backdrop of the Vietnam War. I've been watching video games grow into a meaningful way to tell stories, and I'm excited to explore the possibilities for Apocalypse Now for a new platform and a new generation. According to a press release for the project, players, and I quote, will have the ability to make their own decisions independent of the original narrative as players navigate the unspeakable horrors of the Vietnam War. Their reactions to each situation will result in consequences that will alter their journey as the story unfolds. Every decision matters, and each player will tell their own story, end quote. Apocalypse Now is being developed with a planned 2020 launch window. Again, like I said, that's great. I think that's really cool, and if it's, like I said, what I think they're doing, which if they're going more psychological horror based on war and not like weird supernatural crap, I think that this would be really kind of like a new idea of horror, and it seems like it'll be a really cool game. So you can mark me down as excited. The next article, Prey release date announced. Article by Andrew Goldfarb of IGN. Bethesda has announced that Prey will be released worldwide on May 5th, 2017 for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. A new trailer revealed the release date along with our best look yet at main character Morgan Yu and the alien threat he's fighting on board Space Station Talos 1. Along with the news, Bethesda also announced the Cosmonaut Shotgun Pack, a bonus pack that will be available to players who pre-order Prey. The Cosmonaut Shotgun Pack will offer a Margrave shotgun, a U family heirloom, according to Bethesda, as well as 3 neuromods, 2 med kits, a shotgun ammo fabrication plan, and I quote, a unique upgrade to help players preserve their limited resources. The new Prey, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Let's see here. Again, I don't know much about the Prey franchise. Again, saw it at E3. Game looks cool. Nothing else to really say. Let's see here. Last week, I talked about this, or something like this, with Obsidian kind of teasing a new game. And I guess now we finally have officially what that game is in an article by Seth G. Macy entitled, Obsidian Announces Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. And the article reads: a fan funding campaign for a follow up to 2015's Pillar of Eternity 2 Deadfire is now live. Obsidian Entertainment, the developer behind Fallout New Vegas, South Park: The Stick of Truth, and the original Pillars of Eternity, launched the campaign on Fig. The campaign has an overall goal of $1.1 million US. According to Obsidian, Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire, and I quote, improves upon the rich narrative, beautiful environments, and interactive tactical combat, end quote, that helped make the first game a success. The sequel sees players return to the world of Eora, this time to explore the Deadfire archipelago, traveling, and I quote, by land and sea. End quote. Players move from island to island, exploring the environments and smoothing out relations between the locals, and I quote, trading companies and bands of fierce pirates, end quote. Obsidian CEO Fergus Urquhart said the goal of Pillars of Eternity 2 is to improve, and I quote, on what fans loved about the original while adding features our fans want to see, end quote, such as more freedom for players to explore the world. I think this is really cool. This could be really cool depending on if they're going to still kind of really push this fantasy kind of backdrop, or if we're going to go into a little more futuristic fantasy. Not like futuristic, but, you know, like past like Middle Ages, and we're going to get into, you know, because I'm seeing guns and we're pirates, and so I think we're going to get... I've seen a little bit of Pillars of Eternity. I haven't played it. It's on my wish list on Steam just to remind me to buy it when I have the cash. I just never have the cash to buy it. But the game looks really cool. That game looked really cool. And this in the new concept, like I said, I think, you know, this this kind of piratey, like we're getting out of like knights and getting into like again, pirates. You know, like the advance of time. So I think it would be really cool, and we'll have to wait to see what that title brings. Next game to be announced, Square Enix announces Lord of Vermilion 4. Article by Alex Osborne of IGN. A new entry in Square Enix's arcade-based card game franchise, Lord of Vermilion, has been announced. Square Enix has launched the official website for the fourth proper installment, aptly dubbed Lord of Vermilion 4. No specific platform or release date are specified, with the site only saying that Lord of Vermilion 4 is, and I quote, coming soon. The original game released in Japanese arcades back in 2008 and has since received a couple sequels, as well as a few spin-off action RPGs for PlayStation Portable and PS Vita. Additionally, a free-to-play MOBA titled Lord of Vermilion Arena released in 2015, only to have its server shut down the following year. Not much I can really say about it, mostly because I've never heard of the franchise. Let's see here. Dirt 4 announced and dated for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Codemasters has announced, article by Joe Scrabbles of IGN. Codemasters has announced Dirt 4, the latest in its series of off-road racing games for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It will be released on June 9th. Featuring buggies, trucks, rally, and rallycross vehicles, the game appears to be aiming to combine the hardcore realism of 2015's Dirt Rally with the slightly wider, more accessible approach of the last numbered Dirt game. The game will feature over 50 off-road vehicles. So far, the list comprises of the Ford Fiesta R5, Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 6, Subaru WRX STI NR4, and Audi Sport Quattro S1 E2. Rally locations: Australia, Spain, Michigan, Sweden, and Wales, with multiple tracks, and is an official partner of the FIA World Rallycross Championship, including its real-life tracks. Modes include a career option, daily, weekly, and month-long challenges, and multiple ways to challenge friends. The game also includes, and I quote, improved and realistic damage modeling. It will also feature a new track creation mode, Your Stage, which will allow players to set locations and route parameters before the game itself builds the course. I don't know, there's some, I think, letters missing there that past editing. Let's see here. It's unclear whether the approach is entirely automated or if players can build or tweak their own creations. We called the game's predecessor Dirt Rally, and I quote, the best racing game Codemasters has produced in at least a decade, perhaps ever, end quote. In particular, we praised the shift back to a more realistic approach to the sport than Dirt 3 had offered. Here's hoping Dirt 4 keeps that up to some extent. Again, not much I can say. I don't know the Dirt franchise that well. I mean, I know it's a racing franchise, but also I'm not a big racing game fan. So, either way, time to talk about another game that I don't really know much about. But either way, former PS4 exclusive Ace Combat 7 coming to Xbox One and PC. Article by Matt Porter by GN. It had previously only been announced for the PS4, but Bandai Namco has announced that Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown will be coming to PC and Xbox One as well. PlayStation 4 players will be able to play sections of the game developed specifically for the PSVR headset. There has been no word yet on whether the VR sections will also eventually make their way to the PC version. Bandai Namco promises, and I quote, fierce air combat experiences and I quote, a multitude of authentic and futuristic aircrafts to fly, end quote. It sounds like there will be a mix of modern weaponry and I quote, near future super weapons, end quote, at your disposal during your dogfights. Sunao, hopefully that's correct, Katabuchi, writer of Ace Combat 4 and 5, is making a return to the series as lead writer for Skies Unknown single-player campaign. There will also be multiplayer modes, but details are slim for them so far. Again, I don't know much about Ace Combat. I've really never played the franchise. But again, there's the information to those of you who are interested. All right, now on to the game that's been making me piss my pants recently. Resident Evil 7 DLC coming to PS4 next week. Article by Jordan Serrani of IGN. Resident Evil 7's first two DLC packs, Banned Footage Volume 1 and 2, are coming to PlayStation 4 January 31st and February 14th, respectively. Both Volume 1 and 2 will then be released on Xbox One and PC February 21st. Banned Footage Volume 1 includes 2 Tate missions and a new game mode, according to a post on Capcom's website. Bedroom challenges players to quietly escape from a locked room, while Nightmare is a wave-based survival mission. The new mode, Ethan Must Die, is described as, and I quote, a tough-as-nails mode separate from the tapes and story of the main game, end quote. The second Banned Footage DLC will also include 2 tape missions and a game mode called Jack's 55th Birthday, and I quote, comical extra game in which you must, and I quote, feed Jack tons of food, end quote. 21. The first tape mission included with this DLC will have players gambling body parts with Lucas Baker. The second, Daughters, focuses on the Baker's family prior to the start of the main game. Each pack will be available for $10 US or free for Season Pass owners. For more blah, 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 blah. Again, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's a game that needs DLC. And all that, but again, I know there are people who are fascinated with with Resident Evil and all of the backstory that goes with it. And this game is, from everything I've seen, it fits into the franchise. It's kind of like, how to put it? It's like it's its own thing, but it fits into the franchise as a whole. All I can say is the game is freaking terrifying, and if you want to see gameplay that you haven't seen already, come check out the Let's Play on the channel. Either way, also in DLC news, Deus Ex Mankind Divided second story DLC, A Criminal Past, gets release date. Article by Jordan Serrani of IGN. The second story DLC for Deus Ex Mankind Divided, A Criminal Past, will be released February 23rd on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, Square Enix announced today. According to a blog post on the official Deus Ex website, A Criminal Past takes place before the events of Mankind Divided and sees Adam Jensen infiltrate a, and I quote, high-security prison for augmented felons, end quote. His first mission for TF-29, the announcement was accompanied by the artwork below. Again, if you want to see the artwork, go into the description and follow the link. The new DLC will feature both new and existing characters within the Deus Ex universe, including TF-29, Suspicious Psychiatrist from Mankind Divided, Delara Azine. I have no idea how to pronounce her last name. A criminal past will be free for season pass owners. The announcement doesn't mention a standalone price, though Mankind Divided's first story DLC, System Rift, cost $12 US. Again, I didn't play the first DLC, although I will say I think that Deus Ex Mankind Divided, very overrated, if you ask me. I thought it was a good, solid RPG. I think it really built well off the first one and made it more palatable, in my opinion. I had some problems with the first one. But overall, I still found it to be I found it to be one thing. It didn't scratch a certain itch for me that I think it did for other people. Again, difference of opinions and all, but personally, I think it's overrated. Let's see here. Ghost Recon Wildlands closed beta begins soon. Here's how to register. Article by Elise Favis of Game Informer. The open world shooter for Ubisoft's Ghost Recon Wildlands will be running its closed beta from February 3rd to 6th. Preloading begins on February 1st. The closed beta will be available on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. To register, you can head here, a little hyperlink in the article, to the game's official website. You will be emailed by Ubisoft if you are chosen as a participant. If selected, you can invite up to 3 friends to join the beta on the same platform. You can read our hands-on impression from last year's E3 to find out more about the title. Ghost Recon Wildlands releases on March 7th. Again, I'm really pumped up about this. From what I've heard of people playing it, that there's very little of the Ghost Recon DNA in there. So I'm gonna guess that this was a new idea, like a really cool idea of them that they just tried to connect to a franchise that would work, and I guess Ghost Recon works in that franchise. Although I can also kind of see, I'm trying to think how to explain this. It's when people are like, well, there's not a lot of the DNA in there. Well, I think that's kind of the point. I think it's supposed to be a new kind of game in the franchise. So I think it's one of those. It's not supposed to be. You're not supposed to see all of what you're used to in that franchise in that game, sort of deal. I think that's the best I can describe that. Let's see here. We're gonna finish this. We're gonna finish today up with an article, kind of maybe correcting something that I can't remember if I talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago. Let's see here. A Borderlands game could come to Nintendo Switch, but don't count on it. I talked about this. Somebody, Gearbox, said that really gave the impression. God damn, I'm trying to think how to frame all of this. There was a studio that basically said, and I can't remember what studio it was, a couple weeks ago, that basically said, yeah, our games aren't going to go to the Switch. It's because of the thing's processing power. And then the article also mentioned Gearbox saying that there won't be a Borderlands game on Nintendo Switch. But apparently that might not have been 100% accurate. So I'm hop into this article, and I'll stop trying to confuse you with my random thoughts. Earlier this month, article by Eddie Makuch of GameSpot. Sorry. Earlier this month, Gearbox boss Randy Pitchford said it was unlikely that Borderlands 3 would come to the Nintendo Switch, in part because conversations with Nintendo, and I quote, fell apart. Now, Pitchford has elaborated more on the situation. Speaking to Glixel, Pitchford said he's personally excited about Switch, but acknowledged that a Borderlands game for the system is unlikely, at least right away. If the Switch sells enough units and a version of Borderlands can be made for the system that doesn't, and I quote, compromise the experience, then it could happen. And I quote, Nintendo tends to be at their best when they're giving us their best experiences with their properties, end quote, Pitchford said. And I quote, "I think there might be some scenarios where if the Switch becomes a place where there's a huge number of customers and it doesn't compromise the experience that we're making, there could be a scenario where us or Take-Two and 2K decide to take the effort to make it happen," end quote. Guys, a lot of quotes in this, and I quote, "but we can't really think about that right now, and Nintendo, I think wisely, can't prioritize forcing that to happen. I think they're better off," and he added, continuing, "I don't know why writers do that, why they cut the quote like that. It's weird." And I quote, "What it would take for them to guarantee that we exist on the Switch would be better spent by them doing the things they're best at. It wasn't meant as a slight. It's just the reality of priorities," end quote. Pitchford went on to say that the audience for a Borderlands game on Switch may not be very big when compared to the more traditional PlayStation and Xbox systems that don't have on-the-go elements. And I quote, "Most of the people that want the kind of big stuff that we're doing are totally happy to do it on their televisions with their PlayStation and their Xboxes," end quote, he said. And I quote, "And Nintendo's not going to win by trying to take people away from that. They're going to win by offering something that those guys can't offer, which is exactly what they're doing and should be doing. That's where they should dedicate their resources, and I think they're really smart for doing it." And then it adds a link to the Glixel interview. Just going to make sure. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure that there wasn't anything more important on this actual topic. Now, this is kind of interesting. He says something in there that I think was really spot on, and this is something that I can't remember how long ago I said this, but I think this is something that Nintendo really needed to do. Nintendo needed to do one of two things, and I'm sorry, I'm getting my words are sounding a little weird now. I'm starting to sound really nasally. Nintendo really needed to do one of two things. They either needed to focus really heavily and make a super power, like a good powered console that can rival PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, or they needed to kind of focus on their niche market and do something different. Like this guy, I might not have used those words, but that's kind of what I was getting at. They needed to focus on handheld. They needed to focus on this, that, the other thing. How to put it, which I think they're doing, but at the same time, I think they're trying to do too much. How to put this? I think they're trying to be like the other consoles when you're seeing all this third-party support. And again, I know so many people who are really excited about this and like, ooh, we're going to see a Borderlands game, we're going to see this game, we're going to see that game. I don't think it's going to be the same game. I think it's going to be kind of like what those Assassin's Creed games were on the PlayStation Portable. It's going to be something like that. It's not going to be the same experience because they're going to have to tone it down. They're going to have to pull stuff out to get it to fit on the handheld version of the console because it has to work both on the dock and off the dock. So it's just, and again, I haven't tried it. I haven't really seen the PlayStation or the Nintendo Switch work. It all comes down to, and I still think this, that the Nintendo Switch is going to be a niche product that so many people are going to buy and are going to be either, how to put it, it's going to be one of two things. It's either, this is my opinion on the Nintendo Switch. It's going to be one of two things. It's either going to sell really well at the beginning and then it's going to really die off. I don't think it's going to have continuous sales, or it's going, it's just because it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to buy it and just kind of go, okay, it's okay, but I'd rather play on my PS4 and my Xbox. Or it's just not going to do well, period. I do not see this as a long-lasting console. I'm already seeing some people change their tunes on it. A lot of people are going, "Oh, this is really cool." All this back last year. Colin Moriarty's one of them. I'm not going to say he thinks it's a bad idea. He just, from what I've heard of him and seen him tweet, it kind of seems like he's kind of cooled off on it. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to rush through this just because I need to blow my nose, and I don't want to do that on camera. Long and short, again, you know my opinion on the Switch. I really question what it's gonna do, and how it's gonna sell. Long and short of it. So guys, thanks so much for watching. We went a little long this week, and like I said, I'm sorry I'm a little late. There are reasons for that, yada yada yada. But other than that, please remember that you can always find me on Facebook, Twitter, the website. It's all down in the description below, along with links to every article I talked about, as well as a timestamp. I know I'm putting that at the end, and that makes no sense. Either way, you can come back next week at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific for next week's show. And in between now and then, make sure to stay up to date on the channel with the variety of Let's Plays I'm doing, as well as that Nintendo Switch video, like I said, I'm going to do. So other than that, guys, thanks so much for watching. And until next time, I'm AJ Gales. It's the Untitled Gaming Channel. I'm out.